Hello everyone, welcome to Chemically Bonded. Now this was developed and published by the Sounds, and this was released on November 30th, 2019. So, let's go ahead and start the game. I think I'm going to start with Kyoko's realm, and then go on to my favorite, Naomi. Anyways, I am remaking this playthrough, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting. This place. What does it mean to me? Am I tired of it? Around me, the motion of time continues in the same rhythmic fashion, day by day. Is it ever going to change? Asking myself, I can only succumb to giving no answers. Of course, the answers are there before my eyes, those which watched them diligently as they passed without notice. I'm here for an education, right? Part of me feels that might be the answer. Following the same path as everyone around me, living life nonchalantly, oblivious to the outside world. Now that is super relatable. I was like that in high school. Boy, you got me somewhere, I guess. Being a student, it's a life not many would consider special, despite us wanting to believe so. But here, in this place, we define ourselves as individuals. A place where memories are made, where we form the bonds with those closest to us. Is that what this place means to me? One could say that being here is what makes us human. Come here to be taught what it's like to have ambition, to find our dreams. I wouldn't consider myself to be one of those people. With no clear aspirations, finding something like that would be nice. Maybe in the end, that's what this place is to me too. I just haven't found what I'm looking for. Let's see, what will be our name this time? Last time I played, I went as Kamaboko. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go with the normal. Lifting my hand away from the chalkboard, all that's left is my name etched neatly in white on the otherwise blank canvas. Being able to start again as a transfer student sounds like more than just a dream. Having the opportunity to make new connections, to make a new impression of myself rather than having to be me, everyone's had the chance to know over the last 3 years. If I were to describe it, fun would be the word that come to mind. If luck was on my side, who knows? Maybe I'd meet a shy girl on the way to school under the guidance of fate. Or perhaps I'm just overthinking it. Something like that seems too cliched. Nevertheless, standing here in the bliss of thoughts, working against what it was I'm supposed to be doing doesn't make my situation any better. Cleaning duty is something we're all tasked to do at some point. But given the amount of dust and grime laced across the room, I don't feel as if those before me put much effort into it. The tradition, or more so, the will of learning life skills seems to have died off around here. Maybe this wouldn't be such a pain in the ass if I wasn't the only one here. Going out to the empty room, the delicacy put into writing my name on the board is quickly erased by a desire to get out of here as soon as possible. I would have finished by now if the person who had the ingenious idea to skip out actually decided to turn up. It's not as if they didn't know that the job requires more than one person. If I knew who they were, I would have something to say. But I'm not the type of person to go out of my way to confront them. And I can't recall who it was anyway. I wipe away the dust settled along the edge of the bookshelves, leaving the stray speckles to glisten in the now setting sun. It sounds as though his engaging club activities resonates from throughout the school grounds. All that's left now is to mop the floor, and my responsibilities as janitor can be passed on to an unfortunate classmate tomorrow. Perhaps they'll be lucky enough to have company. Moving through the desks scattered across the room, the trip to the supplies cupboard is nothing but a short one. Swing the door open, the scene before me presents a sight of emptiness as I remain still, clutching the door's handle. At this point, giving up doesn't seem like a bad idea, but part of me still engrossed in getting the job done seems to say otherwise. I may as well scout for a mop and bucket elsewhere. Given the apathy our class has towards cleaning, finding a spare set in another room wouldn't be a bad wager. I make my way out of the classroom, under the assumption that the easiest thing to do would be to ask the next class. That is, if they haven't already finished or given up. Much to my surprise, peering into the room seems to have paid off. Two girls make conversation inside, both brushing away at the remnants of the afternoon lessons still chalked on the board in front. I head to the door. Excuse me, would either of you happen to know where I could find a spare mop and bucket? The question itself isn't one I'd particularly dream of asking girls my age. After a quick glance towards one another, almost as if they were conferring silently, they both return their gazes to me. The closer one responds.
I'm not sure. There might be one in the science lab, though. But I don't think anyone goes to clean there.
Alright, I'll go check. Thank you. Spurring the two with a slight bow, I head up in the direction of the science lab. The subject itself has never been my strongest. Far from it. But given that we don't do much practical work, I'd bet I wasn't the only one holding a grudge against sitting at desk just to trace the teacher's notes from board to book. I arrive at the door to the lab, probably the sounds of the footsteps seeping from the faint gap below the door. Unlike regular classrooms, the labs are walled off from the quarters on each floor, giving those inside a sense of privacy. There's a teacher in there. They're bound to know where I can get my hands on the cleaning supplies I need. What a delight. Opening the door, however, grants me with a sight I couldn't say I was expecting. Briefly blinded by the rays of sunlight flowing from the windows across the room, the figure of a girl materializes as my eyes adjust to brightness. Adorned in a flowing white lab coat, her eyes intently study the flask and test tube within the grip of her fingers. Her entire self, oblivious to my presence as she focuses on what's before her. Resting behind her shoulders, her hair, done neatly into a ponytail, blows softly and drafts from the open window. Despite opting for glasses as opposed to proper goggles, she seems to have some sense of safety at least. Taking a closer look, as I continue to stand at the doorway without words, her identity makes itself clear to me. Kyoko Ishikawa, a classmate of mine. I don't know her personally, but I'd be quite oblivious to not know who she was. She's pretty famous around the school, being known for intelligence. Enough so to top the leaderboards for every test, not just in school but even regionally. The more I think about it, the more it makes sense to find her here. It's not a surprise. However, with that sense of fame also comes a certain amount of infamy, given the number of people talking about her. Rumor has it that a few months ago, she was caught cheating. As far as I'm aware, they were nothing more than allegations. Nobody had a real way to get confirmation from her, but nobody made that effort anyway. She herself doesn't talk much. Those nerdy types of girls never do. I guess she's probably just shy.
Huh?
After accidentally pushing the door open, Kyoko's head turns in my direction, having now spotted me, leaving her slightly shocked by my presence. Perhaps standing there dwelling on her was pretty weird when I could have just spoken up beforehand. And that just feels awkward. She looks like a deer caught in headlights. Speaking now couldn't hurt. Excuse me. Do you know if there's any cleaning supplies in here? She hesitates for a second, leaving her mouth slightly ajar. Only what I can assume is an attempt to search for words. Soon enough, she speaks up.
The cleaning equipment? You had me excited for a second, but I think there's some here.
I can't see what there is to be excited about. Rather, I'd be kind of annoyed that someone interrupted me. She seemed to be focused on whatever it was she was doing. An experiment of sorts, by the looks of it. And why is that?
Nobody cleans her much.
No, I meant, what was so exciting? Kyoko looks at me with a smile that's all too passionate.
I thought you were here to join the science club.
I'm not quite sure what she's expecting me to say, but even after this brief conversation, my image of her as a reserved, white girl has been completely shattered. She appears to radiate enthusiasm. This is the science club?
What did you think it was?
As far as I'm aware, what I walked in on was a sole girl conducting experiments alone at the school, not a fully fledged club. I'm pretty sure you need at least 5 members for that. The fact that she's conducting experiments without a teacher's supervision, though, is more than enough to tell me she doesn't take the rules very seriously.
You don't look very impressed.
I can't say I am. After all, I came here so I could finish cleaning the classroom and take samples of extracurricular activities. That's because I came here to get a mop and bucket, not to check out the club.
Okay, I'll go get them now. But please, take a seat, at least.
To be honest, delaying my inevitable return to scrubbing the grime from the classroom floor would be such a bad idea. I may as well stay for a while and hear her out. Kyoko quickly turns, supplies in hand, along with a glum expression carried on her face.
I've been trying to get more members, but nobody seems to be interested. It's hard to find people who like science.
It's almost as if she's trying to make me feel sympathy for her. For a girl I once thought to be quiet, even shy, she sure seems persistent. The saying, "Don't judge a book by its cover," comes to mind. After talking to her though, the image the rumors painted her as doesn't seem to be true. That's higher than you are people that talk behind her back. None of it seems believable anymore. She's just a normal high school girl as far as I can tell.
Would you like a drink? The store is having a special, so I bought as many as I could. My bag was denser than osmium.
Her science joke, well, more of a reference, is completely lost on me. Taking a small rucksack in the desk in front, she pulls out a can of soda from an unholy pile stuffed inside. There's no way that can be healthy.
This one's a drink for the intellectuals, the chosen ones.
I'm not sure whether I should find that funny but Kyoko stands before me, moving her gaze to meet mine.
I'm not going to drink them all. I just bought them in case anyone came to join the club.
I appreciate the offer, but I really should get back to cleaning duty. Saying it hurts a little given the look on her face, but joining the club really isn't my priority right now.
Please? I've only met one other person interested in joining, and she doesn't even go to this school.
Her eyes are masked with a look of sadness as they stare at me point blank. Saying she looks sad would be easier. Walking out on her at this point would just make me feel bad. I guess I can consider it. That should get her off my case for now.
You'll try it out?
Sure, I guess. From that, her face beams with happiness as her lips curl up into a smile. I can't remember the last time I saw one so genuine. And somehow so cute. Almost innocent. Can't say I'm good at science or that keen on it really. Staying here for a while couldn't hurt, could it?
Thank you. I mean, welcome to the club.
I couldn't say that I expected this, far from it. From the outside and the little I knew of her, Kyoko didn't seem like a person to get this worked up about a stranger joining a club. Even though we're classmates, it's not like we know each other well. However, in a way, her actions are charming. She really doesn't seem like a bad person.
Anyway, you were after the cleaning equipment, right?
It's not as if I've forgotten. Yeah, I should probably get back to that.
If you don't mind, I'll come with you. I'm supposed to be on cleaning duty anyway.
So she's the one who had ran off. I don't know whether this is coincidence or just sheer karma on her part. Rising from my seat, Kyoko too gets ready to join me on our adventure. She rests her lab coat on a nearby desk. The two of us, now ready to make our way back to class to finish out the responsibilities handed out to us, leave the room. Well, for the most part, the responsibilities handed to me. As we head out into the corridor, I accidentally bump into a passing group student, a girl about Kyoko's height. Kyoko herself takes a step backwards, almost behind me, as the girl in front now faces me with an irate glare.
How about you watch where you're going, will you?
Inside, I feel like I should be saying that too. Red turns to face Kyoko, and has now tucked herself away behind me.
Oh, it's you. I'm sorry to have bothered you.
Darting her eyes back to me, expression waver reverts to the same look of anger as before. As she walks away down the corridor, my mind wanders as the feeling of recognition floats about without coming to fruition. Bluntly put, I feel as if I know who she is. Kyoko sighs behind me, sliding out from the door and taking a step by my side. You know who that was? Nodding beside me, a downcast look coats Kyoko's face.
Naomi Sato, Class 3-3.
You mean the Naomi Sato?
Mm-hmm. I don't really get along with her.
No wonder I thought I knew her. In fact, for most guys, it'd be a crime not to. Her name gets around a lot. I'm fairly certain her name topped the boys' list for the most attractive girl in the year. And the girls' list too. However, whatever it is, something's clearly going on between her and Kyoko. I can't just ignore that. But perhaps it would be better to not get myself too involved. Both of them are well known around the school. Kyoko for intelligence, and Naomi for popularity and looks. Anyway, shall we get going to the classroom?
Okay.
Trying your hardest to regain her enthusiasm, Kyoko trails alongside me as we continue down the corridor. Me, carrying the mop and bucket, and her striding along at my side with now a somewhat relaxed expression. Whatever the situation is with Naomi, it's concerning, but getting involved is a different question. A short while later, after mopping the floor to an extent we were both satisfied with, we stand alone in the otherwise empty but clean classroom.
I feel as if we accomplished something. Like an experiment. Done well.
I wouldn't know how that feels, but maybe now she'll attend cleaning duty as she's supposed to. Now that she's here though, I can't bring myself to complain. It was good to finally have company. Are you usually this talkative? I ask, simply because she seems overly energetic cleaning grubby classroom. Seeing how she had acted earlier, I find it hard to believe she's like this around everyone. Especially for someone who doesn't talk much to us around her.
I've never really had the chance to speak to many people. So, today has been fun.
Alright. Fair enough.
No! Now's the part where you're supposed to give me your number and say a cheesy quote to make me feel better about myself.
Not sure how the world works in her mind, but she looks at me quizzically before resting her arms at her side.
Never mind, but I am going to need your number. You're joining the science club, right?
I didn't say I wouldn't. I grab a nearby notebook from random desk and tear out a sheet of paper, only to scribble my number onto the vast white space. Perhaps I should apologize to whoever's book this is. Somehow I can't help but feel that Kyoko's been waiting for someone to join a club like this. In a way, thinking about it makes me feel sorry for her. I can only feel bad for not being that interested in science. At least I can give her moral support as she does. Whatever she does there.
There. Done.
Kyoko proudly presents her phone to me, showing that she's now added me as a contact.
I've spelled your name right, haven't I?
Yeah, that's right.
I'll send you a picture later so you can add me to yours.
She stands before me, a smile spread across her face as the evening sunlight trickles through classroom windows, brushing her cheeks as they glow softly. I guess it's getting pretty late. Saying my thoughts aloud, Kyoko nods in agreement as we both exit the room, disregarding to put away the cleaning equipment. That and whatever experience she was up to beforehand. As we exit the school grounds, Kyoko's soft footsteps ring out faintly amongst our almost silent surroundings, spare the sounds of day-to-day life. I guess it shows how long we were cleaning for. I consider that there were still club activities going on when we'd started. The evening sky blankets us in spring air as we stand together at the school gates.
You're coming to the science club tomorrow, right? Don't forget.
It's not like I could after a novel introduction, and now the begging involved wrote me in. At the end of the day, maybe something like this would be nice. Maybe I can find some ambition, even if science isn't my strong suit. Don't worry, I'm not gonna skip my first club meeting.
You make that sound as if you're planning on skipping some, though.
For the first time in a while, I laugh. In turn, Kyoko's mock frown shifts to a soft but truthful smile. I'll see you tomorrow, Kyoko.
I'll be waiting for you. We're classmates after all. I'll see you tomorrow, too.
Our paths, despite barred by our departures, we are now closer together as clubmates. I turn to see Kyoko's figure in the distance, almost silhouetted by the evening sun. Calling it picturesque wouldn't be far-fetched. I guess I'm a member of the science club now.
I thought you were here to join the science club.
I'll be skipping training too, so don't feel too bad.
Passing over as quickly as they started, the dispersal of the class marks the end of our morning sessions, reinforced by a brief chime of the bell. Leaning back in my chair with a stretch, almost turning out the lethargy built up inside, I too rise from my seat. I guess now won't be such a bad time to get lunch, even though I'm not that hungry. Stepping out into the corridor, the usual chatter flows through as people make their way out of classes one by one to join the mass crowd heading to stairwells. Based on how late class had actually finished, I had no doubts that the cafeteria will be busy. Thinking of my new acquaintance, or rather clubmate, and as now Kyoko opts either to stay in class or head elsewhere for lunch. Not as if it matters. Assuming she heads to science labs to eat wouldn't be unreasonable. Mentioning it, I'll be getting to know the room pretty well myself in the coming days, now that I've committed to joining. Based on how enthusiastic she was about it, it wouldn't be too far a stretch to think she'd wait for me to turn up no matter what. Pulling out now isn't an option, even though I can't see myself doing that to her. Spending time with her might actually boost my grades. I'll have a front row view of the school's smartest doing science right before my eyes. Even if I'm not into it, she certainly is. Whatever doing science involves. That, and she seems like a nice person too. Perhaps it'll even be fun. I continue my journey towards the cafeteria, just one out of many students now amassed in this narrow hallway. Walking through the doors to the cafeteria, the sight of people swathed around the rows and tables greets my eyes. As expected, it's quite busy in here. Students from first to third years crowd around eating and chatting. The scene itself somehow seems too familiar, as if I'm expecting to find Kyoko eating her lunch at the corner by herself. However, I'm certain she stayed behind to eat in class. Plus, I've established she's not that type of person. Taking the situation into consideration, it'd probably be best to buy something from the vending machines. The The line for food is almost as a metaphor in itself. But personally, I don't find what's on offer good. I've never been a fan of beef sandwiches imported from abroad. Domestic cuisine is more than enough. Reaching into my pocket, I feel around for any loose coins. Pang realization hits me as my fingers rummage around inside looking for any hint of change. Ah, damn. The only option now is to head back to class. I could have sat down somewhere and joined in with one of my groups, but even then I'll be the only one without food. Turning around, I make my way out of the cafeteria, with a less than stellar expression of neutrality on my face as I watch myself pass by glass-framed posters on the wall. The corridor is filled by a state close to silence as I walk down, listening to my footsteps tapping against the hard floor below. Dust swirls around in the warm spring air, glowing in the afternoon sun now shining through windows lining the walls. For now, all I can do is wait around in class for afternoon lessons to start. If I'm lucky, I can find someone to talk to there. As I take my next step down the corridor, a hand clasps around my shoulder tightly, pulling me back. If I had actually managed to get some lunch, I'm fairly certain I would have shat myself.
Where do you think you're going?
Hey! As I'm spun around by my shoulder, before me stands Naomi Sato with a sharp glare on her face. The very same Naomi Sato from yesterday. Hi Naomi, I missed you. The popular, attractive, and in my opinion the somewhat rude Naomi Sato. If it wasn't for yesterday, I would have recognized her sporting her new getup. Hair done in a ragged ponytail as the lengths of it in front of her ears flowed down to her chest. I don't think I've seen her like this before.
I have something I want to ask you.
I can't possibly think that what she wants to talk about after yesterday. Maybe she's just pissed that I bumped into her.
You were hanging about with Kyoko yesterday, weren't you?
And what if I was? The entire thing is none of her business, after all. Especially since my tie is now firmly within her grip, almost enough to choke me if she pleased. Interrogating people doesn't help. Why does it matter to you anyway? Standing my ground doesn't particularly help the situation. She continues to stare at me with a look more than pissed as my tie is pulled tighter around my neck. Just what is her problem?
I just want to know why she's hanging around with you. That's all. And why does it matter if it matters to me?
Because it seems as if you have a problem. Naomi pulls down my tie, further tightening it around my neck. I joined the science club, alright? What's wrong with that?
The science club? So that's what she's up to. If I was you, I'd stay away from her. That's not just advice, either.
Basking in the afternoon sunlight, I appeared to be getting threatened by the most popular girl in the school. If this is what she's really like, then she really ticks all the cliches. Unless it's just me she has a problem with. The more I stand her, the more I think that's the case. Her eyes still fixed towards mine, carrying an uncannily natural sense of anger as she still clutches my tie tightly, frowning all the while. Luckily enough, we're the only ones around the corridor. Lunch doesn't end for a while, so nobody's around to witness us. You know, I've never had a girl this close to me before. I can almost feel her breath against my face. She's close enough that I could probably kiss you. Naomi pushes me back, despite remaining holding my tie. It's like she's intentionally trying to choke me. What was that for?
You're being disgusting! You can't just say things like that!
I was joking.
I haven't got time for your jokes. I asked you a question, alright?
I told you, I'm in the science club. Why would a popular girl like you have an issue with Kyoko anyway?
That's none of your concern! I don't have an issue. And how does a guy like you know who I am? What's your name?
Naomi yanks at my tie. Ah! I'm far. You're the captain of the track team. Everyone knows who you are. Releasing me from her grip, my tie falls to my chest as Naomi remains with her eyes fixed in my direction, now seeming somewhat calmer.
Dealing with Kyoko is not worth your time. That's all. Telling you bluntly is the only way you'd understand.
A bit too bluntly, might I add. Naomi rests her hands at her sides, still facing me with a less than pleased expression. I don't think choking me hasn't made it any clearer. I didn't even recognize you with that new hairstyle at first.
You like it?
I guess it suits you.
Ew!
Freeze contorts in response to my compliments. I guess she really doesn't like me.
Just leave Kyoko alone. She's not someone you should be involved with.
I should probably be the one saying that, given how she acted yesterday and her overly inquisitive actions today. Realizing it, though, has given Naomi enough time to make her hair halfway down the corridor. What a great way to introduce herself. For someone who's supposed to be popular, she certainly has a unique personality. Now that she's confirmed my suspicions, it's clear enough that there is something happening between Kyoko and Naomi. Despite having just met them both, it's more than concerning. It seems as if Naomi herself doesn't like Kyoko, so standing here around and watching doesn't seem like the best idea. Then again, getting involved in it isn't the best one either. I didn't know that I have to put up with this after joining the science club. But if anyone is able to clear this up, it'd be Kyoko. I should probably talk to her about it. Making my way back to class, the glistening sunlight shines in the reflection from the polished floor below. The sound of small conversation made between the few students opting to remain in class greets me as I ride through the doors. Peering across the room, my eyes move, looking around to see if I can catch a glimpse of Kyoko. To no avail, though. She doesn't seem to be here. It'd be safe to say she's gone somewhere else for lunch. The scent of various foods still lingers in the air as the people begin to pack up to start afternoon lessons. Time is now ticking away towards the end of lunch. Unfortunately, all good things end too soon.
Hey!
For the second time today, a hand grips my shoulder unexpectedly. This one, however, daintier and light, comes from someone with the courtesy to speak up before spinning me around. Hey, Kyoko.
Hey! I was looking for you everywhere.
And why's that?
I wanted to make sure you were coming to the club after school.
I expected as much. Of course I am. I did say I would. Kyoko pouts, almost displeased at my answer despite telling her what she wanted to hear.
How can you claim something without empirical evidence?
Empire what?
Facts!
As if to emphasize her point, her hands raise heartfully to her chest as she faces me with a smile. It's almost as if she's enthralled by the very concept of logic. I span my head across the room to notice that her overabundant enthusiasm has caught the attention from many besides myself. Kyoko doesn't talk much to the rest of the class, so seeing her this gleeful might be an oddity for them in itself. Particularly since she's acting this way towards me. Until yesterday I was virtually a stranger to her. The rumors didn't help her case either. Meeting her myself was a shock, but getting to know her even after day has broken all the thoughts I'd once held.
I guess you did say you'd go.
She has no parallels to the person I call bad. That's right. Class is starting anyway. So it's strange to think that someone like Naomi would have such an issue with her. The clock's hand creeps steadily towards the hour, almost as if in competition with our teacher's monotonous lecturing. It's safe to say I'm not the only one rooting for the clock to win. On cue, the bell chimes away, cutting out Mr. Kimura's sentence.
Class, I expect you all to catch up before next week. You know you'll have a new teacher soon. Don't expect him to cover what I've missed.
If we're lucky, he won't be as boring to listen to. Copying up within a week, though, is a bit of a stretch. Maybe I can try copying the answers from Kyoko, if she'd even let me. The class follows swiftly with the process of packing bags and rising from seats. Everyone in a rush to leave, whether that's for home or club activities. For me, it's now the latter. Across the room, Kyoko looks back with a twinkle in her eyes as she steadily lifts her small figure from her seat. Does she think I'm about to make a run for it? Trying it out would be pretty funny, but I don't want to hurt her feelings. Joining did mean a lot to her after all. Following suit with the rest of the class, I too now rise from my desk, heading to join Kyoko. She aisles around hers, waiting for me to pass by.
Are you excited?
For what? I know exactly what. I just want to tease her.
For the club, silly.
Her emotions are made apparent through her actions. Vividly enough, she's excited herself. After spending time alone as the only club member, I guess now that she has someone to join her, she can start to feel like there's someone who shares her interests. That the club is starting to take shape. Despite not having a clue about science, I don't have any qualms about joining her. I guess so. Particularly if Naomi has problems with her. From what I've seen, Kyoko seems to be being bullied by her. I don't want to allow that to happen. She joins me as the pair of us walk out of the room together, greeted by the vast corridor before us. Kyoko, taking light footsteps to my side all the while keeping her lips firm in a smile as the warm light now shines against her features. To join the club has caused a sight before me. Maybe it wasn't such a bad idea to join. Together we stand before the entrance of the science lab. The door, in a shade of off-white, clicks as Kyoko slides it open to take the first step inside.
Welcome to the club.
You've already said that.
I just wanted to say it again.
Kyoko mocks me with a frown as she stands at the door, ushering me in. Aren't you supposed to have 5 members for a club anyway? As far as I'm aware, we only have 2.
I'm working on that. Who cares? It's not like they'll say anything.
I don't know who they is, but given Kyoko's reputation, even with the staff, she might actually be right. Beckoned by Kyoko, the science lab greets me as I now join her inside. Now that I'm here, perhaps I'll have a chance to talk to her about Naomi. It's something that's been bugging me. Rushing into that isn't my priority. I'll leave Kyoko to get along with science. She's already started to fish equipment out from nearby cupboards, neatly placing them on a workbench before her.
Bunsen burner, check. Tripod and gauze, check. Hydrochloric acid, check.
Hydrochloric acid? Just what sort of experiment are you doing?
The experiment we're doing. And it's fine. It only has a pH of like 3 anyway.
I don't even know what a pH is. She continues setting up our equipment, until he's slinging each item she pulls on cupboards and drawers. I guess she's really into this. Her lab coat flaps around as she quickly passes to and from areas around the room to fetch the bits and bobs she needs. I can't even remember when she even put it on. It does suit her though. Now evening sunlight shines through the room, causing the strands of Kyoko's hair to glisten as I continue watching her. Despite not doing much, I'm actually finding this kind of fun. What? Kyoko's cry from across the room startled me, given that she's been almost sent for the last few minutes.
I'm out of fennel.
You don't need to go into it. Honestly, I wouldn't have a clue what it was even if she did say it.
I'll have to get some more tomorrow. But we can't do the experiment without it.
Surely that's a shame. No longer having a set chance to see the smartest girl in the school working here before me. Even if I can't find this stuff interesting, if given the opportunity to get into it. Well, what now? I don't feel like going home yet. But I look at her face, neither does she. Telling her our first real club meeting would just make her feel sad. That in turn wouldn't make me feel any better.
I guess we can just talk.
She doesn't seem to know what to do then. Talking with her wouldn't be a bad idea though. Ever since earlier, even yesterday to an extent, the issue of Naomi has been bugging me. The entire topic might not be something she'd want to go into, but standing by and ignoring the issue isn't the best option either. It hurt me to see her upset. Let's see. Let's talk about Naomi. Or maybe I saw it. To just ignore the topic, to ignore the fact that Kyoko is being treated this way, it's not something I'd allowed myself to do. Despite having just met Kyoko, I'm allowed to have feelings of concern for her if Naomi is doing something to hurt her. Not addressing it would make me feel better about it. But there is something I want to talk about. Kyoko, oblivious to my tone of voice, looks at me cheerfully.
What is it? Are you going to tell me your favorite element?
No, it's not that. It's about Naomi Sato. Her face drops at the mention of the name. I don't want to get too into it, but it seems as if she has something against you. Kyoko remains frozen before me, her face now coated with a look of woe. It's not something I wanted to see. To see a face like this caused by someone's hate would hit harder.
He's always been like that. I'd rather not go into it.
I'm sorry for asking. Taking my cue, I apologize for delving into the topic. I'd realized that asking might have created a sense of awkwardness, but the response solidifies the situation entirely. It's apparent that Naomi is going out of her way to upset Kyoko. I'd hate to imagine what Kyoko's feeling. The thought itself makes me sick.
No, it's okay. After all, you're a science club member. You're allowed to ask questions.
I guess now's a good time to change the topic. Kyoko doesn't seem too happy talking about Naomi. It's understandable why.
Anyways, it's getting late. I'd rather not bore you. We can't do anything until tomorrow.
Kyoko upholds her sorrowful expression as she makes note of the amber sky visible through the windows. Whether that's due to having to cut the club short or due to our conversation, it's unclear. It's okay. I'm looking forward to,
Determining the concentration of calcium carbonate in limestone?
That's what you were doing? A giggle. A cute and more than welcome one. It's a nice thing to end my first club meeting on, given the bleak aura we just escaped from. Kyoko unsheathes her slender figure from her lab coat resting it once again on a nearby chair. I feel as if she's the only one who actually comes here outside of class. She has free reign to use all the equipment without a care in the world. That is, besides Naomi. We both stroll out of the lab together. She walks away swiftly to my side, not almost as happy as she was when we first arrived. Wait, aren't you going to put the equipment back?
Oh, that? They won't care if I leave it there for tomorrow.
I'll trust her on that. Greeted by the late afternoon skies above, just as yesterday, we now stand before the school gates ready to depart. Spending time with her has only certainly been fun. I'd really consider her a friend. Before you ask, I will come tomorrow.
How did you know?
Because, like me, she enjoys spending time with someone after school. It could have been anyone, but I'm happy I made the decision to join her. Because science is fun, right?
Right.
Kyoko leaves me with a friendly wave as we bid each other farewell. The two of us now sitting out home in this warm spring evening. It's that friendly wave I want to be able to see more often. The emotion of happiness. I don't want Naomi to bother her. I don't want her to be unhappy, to feel that way anymore.
I thought you were here to join the science.